All right. I love seeing you guys again. I just attended a wonderful webinar hosted by Tammy Beasley. She has great talent and passion for the field of recovering from eating disorders, and she used the acronym TRUST. It inspired me just to kind of sit down and reflect and put my own words to the acronym to turn into a teaching video topic. So let's walk through it together. Task would be the T that I chose for trust. You could say, I have a task at hand. I apologize, Rook is down here playing with a toy, so bear with me. But Rook is a great example. I'm going to share a couple examples using the TRUST acronym for your recovery journey. So the T in trust would be task. Okay, so there's a task at hand that you're choosing, and then you have to keep R repeating it, U understand it, and then S self-soothe, and then T transition through it. So let's go through some examples. When I was just recently taking some vacation time with my sweet little puppy, we did a mommy and me trip, and she got to experience the sound of a train for the first time. And she was, jumping and kind of freaking out. And, me learning to be a mommy, I was trying to intuitively think, how am I going to help this sweet little puppy? I want to make sure she's not traumatized from the experience. So I naturally went within my body and I just kind of observed her in the situation, and I stayed super calm, and I just kind of looked down at her, watched her body language to see how she was responding. It's almost like she was absorbing my calm energy, and she just looked up to me, and then she got very quiet, and she realized mommy's okay, so I must be okay. I'm going to trust her, trust if she's okay, I must be okay. And then I noticed that she just got really quiet and she sat down and she was okay. So we'll kind of circle back to the example, but she had a new task at hand, which was that crazy train noise that she'd never experienced before. And then R, you have to kind of repeat the pattern to help rewire the brain. So you have to remember that eating disorders often are a mental comorbidity, so some sort of anxiety or trauma you experienced. There might be some other diagnoses, and the brain has been wired in a certain way that you have to reprogram. So by repeating, and Tammy kind of spoke to this, that's part of the process of restructuring your brain. And with Brooke, we continued, experiencing trains over and over, and I was curious, is she going to freak out or freak out less the second time? But amazingly, she was completely normal, had no response the second time that she heard the train, and going forward, interactions with that same noise, no response. I was like, wow, perfect. Good job, puppy mommy. At least on that one, I'm still learning. And then the U for trust is you have to understand the situation, understand your tools that you can apply. And using the train example with Brooke, what I did understand is that she responds well to positive energy, to gentle guidance, and I did research her breed, and she does really well with positive affirmations. Versus our bulldog, if you tell her, even if it's sweetly or more sternly, like, come up on the couch. The bulldog's personality is completely different. It's like, if it's your idea, it's not my idea. So let me walk around for 3 minutes, and then it's my idea at that point, then I'll come up on the couch. So you have to understand what tools work for you authentically and apply those. And then the S is self-soothe. So you, as your own wise guide, you can only self-control. You can't control the external or the outside things, but you have to learn to be safe in your own world, self-control, or if it's a puppy, right, hopefully there's a parent that's a role model that can teach those tools. That was me in that situation. Being the puppy parent, let me help her learn to self-soothe, and then the next few times she experienced that train noise, she had learned that, and it was now a tool that she had inside of her. And then the T is transition through. So, using Brooke again as an example, we transitioned right through the first scenario. She jumped around, she freaked out, she looked to me for soothing, she saw I was calm, I was safe, I was there with her. She absorbed that, she got the tool, and we transitioned through like nothing happened. And then the next exposure, same thing. Okay. So the TRUST acronym, I think, is really cool. I'm actually using it for other things that are challenging me in life. And if you're a human and you're self-improving, you're growing, which is a part of living in this beautiful world, is tools, conquering, building trust within yourself, and life getting easier and flowing more naturally. You can use this acronym even if you don't have an eating disorder. Maybe you're struggling from something else. I want to use another example. I was recently driving in this rainstorm, crazy, and I've drove through rain before, but not this like hail and tornado, and there was no options to turn off, and I really needed to get to my destination. And I had Rook in the car with me, which made me even more anxious and vulnerable, because it's not only my soul, but my sweet little mini light, my little light that I had to protect and care for. And the idea that I might put her in harm or in danger just made a new level of potential anxiety. So I used this acronym in a way. There was a new task at hand, which was driving in this crazy rainstorm that I have not been in this situation before, not at this level. And then R, I had to kind of keep repeating over and over, because the rain would come and it would go, and I'm like, oh my gosh, great, I'm free of this challenge. And then all of a sudden it came again. So I kept repeating what worked the first couple times to get through the crazy traffic and the rain. And then I had to understand what worked for me, and I self-soothed throughout the process, and we transitioned through each time to where it became easier and easier, and then it was just like, whew, I got this, no problem. So I'm going to talk through what I did in the process. What I understood, okay, so I had my task, how do I get through this safely? I'm going to keep repeating what's working so I can get through this until the storm passes, pun truly intended. What I understood was working was actually a lot of things that I had to learn through my eating disorder recovery and recovering from generalized anxiety disorder, is I have what I can control inside my body, and instead of impulsively jumping to the oh my gosh, freaking out, right, which only makes it worse, I stayed calm, I stayed inside my body, and I knew that if I stay calm, I can probably get through this much easier. What also was helping me was other drivers were smoothly going through ahead of me. They were okay, they weren't having any problems. So I was observing my environment, that people were safe, that made me feel safe, and built my confidence. And I also had some techniques I was using. I couldn't see the lanes, I couldn't see the lines on the ground, but I could see the truck drivers on my right, their taillights. And so I would use that taillight as a marker of where I was in my lane. And then I also realized that they make a lot of water come up as I'm driving. So if I'm too close, or I try to pass and I'm not confident enough, all this water was coming on my windshield, and that was the scariest feeling. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't see anything. If I allowed myself, I was like, I'm just gonna spin out of control, and like the worst thing, we're done. But I soothed myself, I stayed in my body, I observed what I knew I could control and was safe, which was the taillight is there, so I know I'm here. This car is smoothly driving past the truck, So if I can get behind this car and I can look at this car's taillights and I can look at my map that shows me the road stays perfectly straight, there's no random turns, then I think if I put faith or trust into this, I'll be okay. So it took a couple attempts to where I got up and I was like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna get past this big truck, because in theory, it's not very safe being by these big trucks, right? Sweetie, do you need your toy? Okay, I'll come get it in a second. Can you wait? Can you wait for me? Okay, go girl, wait. So I tried and I got nervous because the water was coming, and then I moved back and I paused, I breathed, and I was like, okay, what do I know? Because I'm gonna build up enough confidence and then I'm gonna get past this truck. I know I will. I just need to wait until I'm really ready for that next challenge. So I tried another time and I was like, oh, that was a little bit better, but near enough water. So I waited and I watched a couple cars go through, and then I got behind and I used the car in front of me as a level of, don't lick the camera, Brooke, leave it, go girl, go girl. I used the confidence I built up from watching the cars to finally transition through. And I was like, whew, I made it. I was okay. It wasn't as bad as what I thought. So I had to continue going through that experience probably like 15, 20 times. And each time I did it more and more, repeated the R of trust, I built more confidence. And, you know, after probably the 10th time of doing it, the last 5 times, I was like, I can listen to a podcast, I can kind of think about what I'm doing once I get home, and I was back to my normal baseline. So this TRUST acronym can be so helpful, and I feel blessed that I got to listen to the webinar, and now I'm getting to give back and help you guys out there. So I look forward to the next video. Thanks for your patience with little Rook being out here with me. And maybe take some time just to reflect, write down the acronym for yourself, what words really speak to you, and what examples in life have you applied trust, maybe unknowingly. There was a task, you kept repeating to rewire some new brain patterns. You understood the tools that work for you, you self-soothed, and then you transition through to where you are building that trust with yourself in a relationship. And it's so important to trust yourself, because if you can trust yourself, then you can trust other people, you can trust life, you can trust a lot of situations, and you become really empowered. All right, see you guys in the next video.